Good morning. Welcome to Mama's Backyard Chickens and Front Porch Conversations with Mama. It is a nice breezy day, and y'all, I have furled my flag, but it's just it's been a waste of time, I tell you. But while we're at it, let me get a picture here of the barred rock hen and rooster. That's what we're talking about today, the barred rock chicken. I have two, Miss Bertha, the fat one that had heat stress a couple of weeks ago, and another one. They are a dual-purpose bird. And the chicks here, when they hatch, you can tell which one is which by the dots on their heads. The males will have a bigger white dot than the females. If you can look at this picture, this is definitely a male right here on the end because he has a very large white dot. Anyway, that's the pictures of them. And just a little tidbit while we're doing this chicken and breed, going over the histories of the breeds and stuff. This is an American chicken. However, no chicken is native to America. They all come from other countries or were brought over here and bred with other chickens from other countries. There is no native chicken in this country. They were all brought here on ships, boats, however they got here. But that's just an interesting tidbit to know that chickens are not native to the United States. Some of you may or may not have known that, and I thought that was very interesting, that all the chicken breeds here were derived from chickens from other countries. So the Dominicker is an old breed of chicken that resembles the barred rock as well, and sometimes you can't tell them apart. The Dominicker chicken has a rose comb, which is a flat, kind of bumpy comb, and then the barred rock chicken's comb stands up, and you can tell they stand up straight. But and the Dominicker chicken has probably more lighter barring than the barred rock or Plymouth Rock. But we're talking about the Plymouth Rock today. First saw in Plymouth Rock, the Plymouth Rock was in Massachusetts in 1849, and then it just disappeared for about 20 years. And then around 1869, it becomes popular again when Mr. Upham of Worcestershire, Massachusetts, was breeding barded males with Java hens. The New York Poultry Society has determined that the difference between the Plymouth barred rock and the Dominicker are the Plymouth barred rocks, as I said, have a single straight comb, and the Dominicker has a rose comb, or a flatter comb. But that's basically the only difference. Both of are dual-purpose birds, and I guess I'm covering the Dominicker as well as the Plymouth Rock here as well, because they're so closely related in their genetics. So that's the history of them. They are a dual-purpose breed. I'm looking over my notes, just bear with me. Okay, that's... the hens will weigh about 7.5 pounds, as you can see with Miss Bertha how fat she is, and the male's 9.5, and that makes them an excellent dual-purpose bird, and they are cold hardy birds. And they can withstand the coldness and the heat. They do have a bantam variety of that chicken as well. But I don't keep bantams. I have in the past because my husband loves them, but I don't keep them. The black and white barred rock chicken is the only one that is recognized, let's see, barred rock breed for American Poultry Society in 1874. Currently, there are 7 accepted varieties of the Plymouth Rock recognized here in the United States. Okay, there are 7 varieties of barred rock chicken recognized, and they are the barded, which I have, the blue, the buff, the Colombian, the partridge, the silver penciled, and the white. I haven't ever seen any of those. So I've only seen the black and white striped chickens like I have. So they are all considered rare except for the black and white chicken. That's what my notes say. So that's probably why I've never seen any of them. Let's see. Let me look at my notes here. They don't fly very well. So you don't need to have a huge fence around their enclosure because they're too heavy to fly, honestly. They're too fat. And they have a very good personality. That's what this says, and that's what I'm going to say too. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I wanted to get to the egg production part because egg production on these chickens is not as high as the Leghorn or the Rhode Island Red, as we discussed before. Egg productions, it says you'll average about 4 a week, and on average 200 eggs a year. So that's a little history on the barred rock. Now I will tell you my experience with them. My experience with the barred rock is exactly that. They are a heavy breed of chicken. They are big, they're fat, they're fluffy. And they are very mild-mannered and calm. They're not scrappy. They can't fly very well because they're too fat to fly, which makes them susceptible to predators. Your heavier body chickens, if you free range them, are going to be more susceptible to predators than, say, a white leghorn. But as you know, I don't free range my chickens, but that's something to take in consideration. As far as a dual-purpose bird, as you know, they are fat and hefty, so of course you can raise them, and the roosters in this case are fat too. The roosters are fat too. So if you were going to keep them as a dual-purpose bird on your homestead for meat as well as eggs, you would do well with this chicken. To get the egg production that you would have to get if you kept, say, a leghorn, you would probably need at least 3 barred rock hens to every 2 leghorns to get the egg production that you needed. Like I said, they don't lay every day, and like I said, it's 200 eggs a year compared to the leghorn who lays 320. So you probably need 3 to 2. If I were homesteading to raise meat, and we have been, and I have told you my grandma kept only Rhode Island Reds, dual purpose. Barred rock would be a good choice because they are so heavy. They're heavier than the Rhode Island Red. But the Rhode Island Red lays more eggs, so 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And that being said, a little more about Mama on this episode. A little more backstory, if you will, is why I think that I can tell you a little bit about chickens. I'm not in farming and whatever. Even though I'm not a green thumb, I know how it works. As a child, my parents we lived on a farm. It's about 100 acres. And my mom's parents also lived on a farm, and theirs is also about 100 acres. Now, on my parents' property, my mom had 3 what we call garden kitchens, and I guess if you combined them, it'd be about an acre where she grew everything we ate, from green beans to radishes to beets to sweet potatoes. We even had 2 strawberry patches. We also raised sweet corn for ourselves and field corn for our animals and hay. The animals that we raised on our farm were Black Angus beef cattle and pigs and rabbits, and my dad trained beagles for hunting dogs. And he also went quail hunting, deer hunting, rabbit hunting. So 95% of everything we ate, we grew. Mom rarely went to the grocery store, maybe once a month for flour, sugar, the essentials, and once in a while, the occasional box of Frosted Flakes. On my grandparents' farm, my dad he didn't like chickens at all, but on my grandparents' farm, she raised chickens and pigs, and she had a milk cow, so we did milk and buttermilk from the milk cow, and I helped her with that, so I know how to make the butter and all that, and the chickens, and those are the things I like to do, so I did them, the gardening I did because I was told, get out there and pick them beans, girl. That's and my grandparents, they also, for a cash crop, raised tobacco, which doesn't happen here in the U.S. anymore. It's all went to China, the tobacco industry. But so in the summertime, I had to split my time between helping on Daddy and Mama's farm and helping on my grandparents' farm. So I never got no breaks in the summer, y'all. And then when I wasn't helping them, then I was helping other people and getting paid to do it. So that's a little backstory on Mama and why I can speak to some of these farming issues. Y'all, when I say my family raised potatoes, I'm not talking about even a quarter acre. We had 2 acres of potatoes to get up every summer, whenever you get them up. It was 2 or 3 days of getting up potatoes, walking behind the tractor, picking them up and putting them in bushel baskets, because my grandparents sold them. They sold the potatoes. So when I say farm, I don't mean a backyard farm. I mean we ate everything we grew and we sold what we didn't eat, kind of thing. We also, my dad's Black English cows, we had a whole herd of them, and he sold the cows, and he also studied out the bull. So I grew up on a farm riding horses, and we rode the horses to check the fence line for the cattle. That's the kind of upbringing I had. So that's why I am qualified. That's my qualifications. Now on the gardening side, I just did what I was told when I was told to do it. And I like the fresh vegetables now, don't get me wrong, but I didn't like working in the garden. It was not my favorite thing. So I didn't really pay attention and learn like I wish I had. So that's why I've got the brown thumb. My grandma and my mom both could grow anything. They could just throw some seeds out, and the next couple of months there'd be some food on it. But me, I have a hard time with that. But for the chicken part, I did pay attention because I did love them, and I love the animal part of it. That's why I paid attention to the animals and not the vegetables. But we were talking about the barred rock chicken, and the barred rock chicken is a beautiful chicken. And Miss Bertha, she is a beautiful girl, and you've seen her in my flock, and her sister, and they are so fat and fluffy, y'all. And they lay a light brown egg. They lay a light brown egg, not a dark brown, but I've done some research, and even though if I had if I had a barred rock rooster, I could hatch out barred rock chicks, and I could tell who's a rooster and who's a hen. And I thought maybe since Spike is also barred, that the olive eggers hatched from him with the barred rock would be sexable too, but that's not the case. There's too much barding in that situation, and they would not be auto-sexing. But not saying I ain't gonna do it. Okay. But I like the barred rock chicken. I don't really have that many more chicken breeds that I can go over for you guys that are actually in my flock. But I have had Welsumers, and I'm going to get Welsumers again. So the next breed I'm going to talk about with you will be the Welsumer. They're beautiful birds, and their eggs are beautiful, brown speckled eggs. So we'll talk about them tomorrow. But that's a little bit of, it's been a long video, a little bit about the barred rock and a little bit about Mama and my grandsons. They know that today's allowance day, and they have been up and at it today. All three of them up before 11 o'clock. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe I was seeing things, but I wasn't. Two of them were up by 10. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I'll let you go from this one. And if you stuck around this long, God bless you. God bless you, because it's been a very long video. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you in the backyard shortly. Thank you for watching, and like and follow, and you'll hear some more crazy stories about my childhood and about my chickens.